should be a little bit less unhappy. A little bit of a rocky start. Oh, I think that is everything set up. Good evening. Welcome to something a little bit different. Gonna turn down the music ever so slightly. Yeah, welcome to the first late night puzzle hour, where I'm going to be making puzzles and escape rooms and just generally sort of chatting through my creative process while I'm making stuff and sharing some ideas with people. So I'm hoping that this is interesting. If I'm currently in the process of making a puzzle or an escape room for you, then I would ask then you don't watch, because there'll be spoilers. But for everyone else, welcome. And I hope that this is interesting. So to talk you through a little bit about what I'm working on at the moment, I'm building a tabletop escape room for a couple of friends, and I'm currently in the process of moving it from its spreadsheet form into its flowchart form, and I'm going to be having a look at sort of what sort of obstacles that I want to be putting in the way. At the moment, it starts out. Why is chat struggling? Doesn't say it's dropped. I'm going to assume everything's okay until it says it's dropped. So at the moment, they're starting out with there'll be a preamble of escaping a fire, and they'll be given a burnt bag, like a burnt gift bag, of with all the things in it. That's going to include a burnt card. I need to figure out what to do with this, because I would quite like to include it, but I'm not sure exactly what sort of clues I want to put in there. So that's nice to have as like an extra little place to hide things. I'm thinking maybe names of people that need to be found is going to be a good place, because that's a sort of obvious natural place to hide things like that. And then the first sort of real puzzle, that's going to be quite a simple one, is there's going to be a diary. There'll be notes in it saying to essentially it's going to be this book, and the plan is to have the back pages glued together. So it's going to be like this, and then there'll be a part cut out in the middle, so that there's like a hidden compartment in the back, and then one additional page stuck over the top, and there'll be instructions to there'll be a drawing of a heart on it, and there'll be instructions to stab the heart, and that way they'll break through into the secret compartment in the back, and then yeah, essentially there'll be the key hidden in there, probably maybe some additional clues and things. There's another place to hide things. There's a puzzle later that needs a radio frequency, and I'm thinking that might be something to hide in the back here. But yeah, so they'll get the key from the back, and that will open. They'll use that, and that will open up the box. So that will sort of be this first section of just getting the bag, getting the diary, getting the box, using the diary to get the key, opening the box. That should be fairly simple, sort of like 5-10 minutes, maybe a little bit longer. That's actually something that would be really worth including in this that I haven't so far is timings. So I'm just thinking what's going to be good. Actually, I might just sticky note it. Oops. I might just sticky note it. Yellow, obviously. No, 5 minutes is ambitious. Let's say like 10 minutes ish. Then 10 minutes ish if they don't read the diary. Spell diary? I think it's how you spell diary. There'll be instructions on the diary itself to be like, oh, you know, like ignore. The idea of this is about releasing some sort of monster or demon or god or something. So there's going to be the like 2 perspectives in the diary. So there's going to be the actual content that's written that tells the story, and then there's going to be scribblings on it from this like demon that is giving instructions on, you know, here's how to actually release the person. So yeah, I think that's that will sort of point them in that direction. So hopefully they won't spend too long reading the diary. Let's say like 20 minutes, because they're the people that I'm making it for are very like creative, theatre-y people. I feel like they're going to be interested in the backstory and might spend some time. So let's say like 20 minutes reading the diary or the lore. Apologies if my typing is loud. So then we've got that. So that's the initial opening. So then what will happen is they'll open the box. Now inside the box, this is what I'm starting to put together. I've got a mock-up of a lot of this. One of my favorite things that I've included in escape rooms before is got all my props down here. Bear with me one second. Lots of bones for doing spooky things with. It's going to be just in time for Halloween as well, which is exciting. All the mock-ups. Got those buried so deep. I think it's in here. Yes. So this is going to be like a main initial component to it, just because it's so lovely and I always want to include it in everything. It's a really like chunky, solid cryptex. So that'll be the initial like part where this will be what the demons trapped inside essentially. Be able to release it by being by working out the code, but obviously because the demon because it wants to be released, then it's obviously going to be like leaving clues of like, oh, here's how you do it. Cool. So there'll be that inside, and then there's also going to be a bunch of papers. There's definitely going to be talking about like the idea is essentially that plot that they're given at the beginning is like figure out what happened, and then almost immediately there's going to be this release and there's going to be a curse, and that's going to end up being the main plot of like, like that's what you essentially have to solve is trying to put this demon, monster, whatever, back in the box, and working out, you know, from all of these rituals and things, what is the way that it's going to be done. So there's definitely going to be these ritual pages in there, and there's going to be two different endings. So there's going to be stuff in there that leads to the main ending that's like, oh, you follow the plot and you get to the end and you seal it back in, and then there's going to be a second hidden ending that's a little bit harder to get to, and essentially is going to be a way of like completely dealing with it forever, rather than just kicking the can down the road for the next person to have to deal with. So yeah, that's the going to be in there. So there's definitely going to be these pages. There was going to be more, but I think it's finding that line between realism and the Luda narrative, essentially, of like what does it make sense for to be there in that situation, and what makes a good puzzle. Because what makes sense to be there would be a whole bundle of different like papers and rituals and like all sorts of unrelated stuff, but that's going to come across a lot more as a red herring, and I think it's going to be unnecessarily frustrating. So I think that there's definitely going to be this, like, you know, whatever they need for the end goal, but there's this I've tagged this as DLC for now, because it's going to be more obscured and I might put it somewhere else. So that's going to be in there. Then essentially the final way that the puzzle gets solved is that they need to perform this ritual, and the ritual is going to be about there'll be a bowl that's also in there that you fill with what I'm going to call holy oil. That's not going to be that, it's going to be something else that's lightly flammable and has a cool color to it, and you fill the bowl and place it on a diagram that they're going to need to figure out, and relate essentially each word to the four humours. So there's going to be these little funky little glass bottles. These. So there's going to be 5 of these, one for each of the four humours, which if you didn't study Shakespeare or in 1900s philosophy and alchemy, is essentially like the balance of the temperaments of like how people behave based on different substances in the body. So you're essentially, they're going to have to find, and there's going to be, you know, a very simple explanation of this theory in there as well, which needs to be included. So there's going to be ritual pages. I think I'm just going to call this pages. And this is going to be, oh, so that's for the curse actually. So this is going to be for the final puzzle. I guess that also counts as final puzzle. Might just shift this up. Oops, just grab that. Might just shift this up out the way like that. I'm gonna have to tidy up all my arrows and everything at some point, but this needs more space for now. So we're going to have this, we're going to have our, please arrow to it. So this is going to be our, like, explanation of humors. Which is going to be needed kind of to understand this potentially could be something that would live in the diary, and that they essentially learn through reading. So let's zoom. So I'm using that color for timings. But I kind of want yellow for notes now. I'm gonna make timings green. I'm gonna make notes yellow. This could also be given in the diary. Cool. So yeah, so that's the explanation. So they're going to know like what to do essentially. There's going to be a pack of all of those like things that they're going to need, and then they'll have a vial of fake blood that is going to relate to a word. So sanguine is the thing that's related to blood. So there's going to be something that's a word related to like the nature of the demon that they have to write in the fake blood. There'll be something melancholic about it that they have to write in the black bile, choleric, yellow bile, phlegmatic, phlegm. So that's essentially the idea. So it's going to be quite. So that's where a lot of the like the puzzling comes in, and it's a little bit convoluted, but I think having the 4 areas of like you need to do these 4 things, and I think if I can establish that quite clearly of like this is your end goal, you need to find what relates to what the word is, and that's the bit that takes the figuring out, because it's going to be done by multiple people. So I want there to be enough for multiple people to work on, because I think that otherwise it's going to be, you know, if there's only one thing that can be focused on at a time, you know, I don't want people to get bored or for it to be done too quickly. Like I think it'll be good if there's something that people are sort of struggling with on their own, and then they can swap it and share ideas and things like that. So the plan so far is that the blood puzzle is going to relate to like a translation puzzle. So what's going to happen is when the person opens it and frees the demon, there's going to be a sort of explanation. There'll be some dramatic, like there's a bunch of like sound design that's going into this as well. There's music and like voice acting and stuff, so it'll be, you know, fairly immersive, hopefully. And there'll be a moment of like, oh, you've been essentially possessed by it. So it's an exorcism and an entrapment that the plan is. And so yeah, so once they become cursed and sort of taken over by this demon, they get additional abilities and additional powers, and it will be, you know, sort of up to them to decide how they want to play it. So I'm going to give essentially a couple of different, it might just be one at the moment, which is demon vision. That essentially, I've got a script that's sort of written. An example, probably not going to show up well. Did I tear it out? Was the question, or did I leave it in? No, I left it in. So I've got a bunch of examples. So I was playing around a lot with color, and the red areas can't be red normally, like it just shows up as red. But if you put a red filter over that, it like you can read the word underneath. So they're going to get demon vision, where they can essentially, I'm going to make a demon eye, and they look through it, and then with the demon vision, they're able to actually read the like demon text in English, which I'm quite proud of as a puzzle. And I think that's gonna, I mean, that was just gonna be given to the one person. If they want to share it and show the others, like I'm not gonna stop them. I want to have fun with it. And if they want to sort of lean more into the role play and like work that, like, oh, I'm working on a puzzle, it's got a bit of demon script. Can the person who's got that power be the one that essentially comes and translates it? So yeah, I think that it'll work either way, however they want to play. So that's the blood puzzle essentially, is that there's going to be some sort of they'll be using that for actually like translating what the words that they have to say for the ritual are, as well as doing some sort of translation the to actually get the word to do with blood. I'm thinking I might include a table of like potential words and examples of like, oh, if it's you're looking for the blood, which is the sanguine word, it could be one of these like 20 words, or you know, some sort of indication that like what they've found is actually the right answer, because I don't want them to get to the end, think they have all of the right words, and not have any way to verify like, oh, it hasn't worked, which bit is broken, like where did we go wrong, because there needs to be some sort of like validation to it essentially. So yeah, it's about building that in, like building in enough layers that it takes a good amount of time and it's challenging, and also so that they can be like, oh yeah, I'm here, like I know exactly what I need to do next. I know that I've completed this bit and I know I'm ready to move on. I think some of them are going to be fairly obvious, so this might not be the sort of best example of that. I think something that is going to be a lot easier is I'm also going to do a cold puzzle. I'm thinking probably for the melancholic word, just because that like cold and melancholy and black bile, like that seems to fit thematically. And essentially that is going to be an invisible word. It's going to be a very sort of like classic invisible ink. It's going to have there'll be a stone rubbing of something, maybe some runes, and instead of heating it with a match, it's going to be that it's like the demon's hiding in the fire, in the heat. So you have to put the piece of paper in the freezer, and for like 10-20 minutes, something like that. But yeah, that's I think that's going to be a good one, and it will get them sort of up and about a little bit, because it's the rest of it's very table focused. The other one that I'm going to be doing is, so this one is a star map. So there's going to be like a very stylized image of like stars, and designed, and there's a ring that I'm going to relate it to that essentially you have to just so there's going to be multiple papers, so I need to actually let me plan this out. So we've got the star map, we've got the ring, and then there's going to be run out of playlist. What should we put on next? Do that, or there we go. That's nice. What was I? Yeah. So there's going to be the star map, and then there's going to be an overlay. So I'm going to call it like word overlay, and essentially that's going to be some tracing paper that has different letters on it. So it will be just like TH and then ARE and then BV, and like it will be, but each will be like mapped to a different star, and essentially they'll have to use the ring to sort of work out, okay, it's these like 6 stars that then you get those letters, and then it's just a basic anagram of like, oh, okay, yeah, like this is what word I'm making out of it. I'll make sure that it's a word that, you know, can't be rearranged into another word that might be a mistake. So essentially, so there'll be the star map that will be used with the, I'm just seeing how I've done this, so word overlay and the ring. It's kind of the 3 all feed into 1, to be honest. So we'll call this the action overlay text, and use ring to find letters. That says fine. To find letters. And then, yes, please, and thank you. And I need to connect this one in as well. People shouting in the street. Wasn't sure what was going on. Yeah, so that's going to go into that. That's going to find the letters, and then what they'll need to do is find letters. I think I'll just make this a separate action, so that will be rearrange to find word, then we can have the unscrum. I need to rearrange this, to be honest, so that it actually so I can feed into it properly, because at the moment it's all a bit trapped. There's so much feeding into each other, it's so hard to keep it neat. I think I'm just going to do it for now, and then I can rearrange it later. So that feeds into that, and then finding the word to rearrange. The star map, if I remember rightly, was going to be I don't remember what I've written down. so many different notes in so many different places. What was it under? So rubbing was going to be, oh, that was going to be yellow. Radio was going to be black. I don't know. I had some. There was some kind of method to my madness of designing that. But this one gave the word. Do it like that for now. Cool. So that's that one. That's a little bit more fleshed out. That one just, I mean, I can just add in this, which is put in freezer to reveal. And the freezer one. What was the freezer one? That was yellow. Let's see if we can make these horrible arrows look less horrible. I need like tunnels and junctions and things to help them organize. There we go. What else needs to go in here? So we've got star map. Okay, so this puzzle, you've got the pronunciation. That's, yeah, so this is multiple puzzles. This is the thing. This is going to be, I think this needs to be a longer section because this is the actual like script as well as the blood related word. And then this is the radio, so let's decipher the word, and that's already tied into there. I can't remember if I did that today or not. Okay. See, now the problem is, I feel like a lot of this is too simple. I feel like a lot of this is going to be done. Honestly, setting the difficulty is so hard for this because I think it needs a lot. It just like each bit needs like a couple of easy steps just to flesh it out, but not anything that's going to be like really fiddly. Oh, excuse me. Really like fiddly decodey. Because the answers can be, I think there needs to be, yeah, some kind of method of validation. I think I've got my to-do list that I've not been using. And I think what needs to be done really is, so find method of validation. That's a big one. Because that means that I can do things that's slightly more complicated and slightly more convoluted, but it means that there'll be a like, okay, we've done it. One of the things I was thinking of actually was having, excuse me, having like the answers written out, but then like scratched away or covered with something. So it would look, I mean, this isn't of that particular page, but if you imagine like these ones across the top, if that represented like 4, 5, 6, 7, like if that was a 7-letter word that was essentially missing that if they came across something that gave them a 7-letter word that fitted in that sort of area, that like, oh, okay, this is a melancholic word that has 7 letters that's come from this sort of puzzle, that's gonna, you know, it doesn't give anything away, but it points them enough in the right direction that they're going to be able to go, oh, okay, we know we've got this one right. I think a lot of it's only going to be, you know, only going to really know when it happens. I think I got a date today for it, that it's going to be in November, sort of end of November, so not that far off. And I feel like I'm in the dangerous point where a lot of it is done, but I actually need to start refining stuff. I mean, I'm quite happy with the some of the mock-ups that have been done. I've got the radio transmitter as well, which I'm really excited about for whatever I'm gonna be hiding in the radio messages. But I'm just seeing if there's anything I've mocked up that I've included. So that's stone rubbing. That's gonna be, so that's the sort of like the tracing paper that's gonna go over. So it'll just have like the stars on it. That is a blank page that I've torn out accidentally, so I can use that for something else. That was a star map, but it doesn't look anything like it. There was the... Yeah, that's the... Okay, so I need to flesh out these blood puzzles that I can do. So what I'm looking for, essentially, is... There's the two halves of it. So we've got... open the box. Yeah. I think that's what's throwing me off, the fact that it's called that. So it's, the puzzle is going to be a... What is the puzzle going to be for that? I'm just thinking, because I've used a lot of my ideas, so let's focus on this other one. So there's going to be this. There's also going to be the ritual phrase with pronunciation. So no, why are you doing that? I want an arrow, please. No, thank you. Could I get an arrow? Thank you. Yeah, so this is just trying to form a thought. The late night puzzle hour is hitting. If I put that there, I'm just trying to organize this in a way that I can actually see it. So there's these two. That's fine. They come from the same. Why has this gone dark? What did I do? Don't know what I did. Figma's freaking out. Cool. So that's going to be in. That's going to be those two. So this is going to have. This is going to be the what's said, essentially, and it's going to have either, it's going to have the English and the, what did I say? So it's, yes, it's not going to have the English words. So essentially, it's going to have the words written in the daemon script, and then it's going to have the words as they're pronounced underneath, which, you know, I might use Latin or Danish or something like that as a, you know, like a translation into how you pronounce it. And then when you use the Demon Vision, you can obviously read those demon words in English. So instead of being like between two, you're translating between two languages that you don't speak, being demon and Danish, you're then translating between English and Danish, and then there will be a like a pronunciation guide that is, again, lots of different demon words to Danish, which then when you use the Demon Vision will be English to Danish. Yeah, I think that will sort of be the point of the puzzle, and then all you need to do is figure out, you'll have the demon text in full, which then looks like English, so then all you have to do is find the corresponding does that work though? Do you even need to yeah, because it's going to be, I'm just thinking, because then you don't even really need the Demon Vision to do it. You can just see like what demon word matches the Danish word, write the Danish word in, but it's going to be very like runic and swirly and not particularly sort of, not obviously different from one another. Like the words are going to be quite similar in the demon script. So it's going to be something that I want it to be close enough that it doesn't really matter if I don't replicate it perfectly everywhere it's supposed to be replicated. And also, it needs to be like, what it needs to make it worthwhile, that like if you translate it to English, like you use the additional tools, that it's like, oh, okay, this is how it's meant to be solved. So you use this in combination with that, and that essentially, so that gives you your, use that with that. So I hate it when I hit like paste and nothing happens, and it's like, okay, what did I paste? Where did I paste it? Cool. So that's going to be translate and complete. Translate and complete the virtual text. Did I miss the U? I think I missed the U. Cool. So actually, that's kind of that whole puzzle. So that's that. So where is this needed? That's file, that's fill, bowl, complete diagram. So I haven't really mentioned this yet, so that's going to need to come all the way down and point into there. Let's make this not look horrible. Can I make the arrows a different? I can make it a different color. That's gonna come I mean, I suppose I could color code them to. I need to do a bit of tidying up. I can color code them to each section, so those are fine, to be honest. That if it's related to, I haven't really done the blood one yet. What I can do is that's cleric. I can give that black. And give that black, so that comes out. And then I've got the, that gives us the phlegmatic words, that can be yellow, just to make it as legible as possible. And apologies if I use multiple colours for the same one, I am colourblind. There we go. That just distinguishes it a little bit. And then well, actually, to be fair, probably shouldn't be yellow. That yellow bar should be yellow. What's a good colour? I guess white. But is that even going to show? No, I don't like that one. Thing I can see. No, don't like that. I do blue. Doesn't really make sense thematically, but it's different enough that I'm going to be able to see it. Cool. And then this is yellow. Just seeing the difference between those. Yeah, that's too red. There we go. Then there's the bowl. That's okay though, so that's the diagram. It's coming together. I think I'm going to write out this bit and then we will call it an evening because it's coming up on about 50 minutes. So we've got this, so the blood puzzle. Where's my notes? Because it's got to be something. It's got to be something to do with vision, I think. Because I want to use that enough. So, paper incantation. Bunch of symmetrical runes that spell words through. Oh yeah, of course. There was this whole other idea that I had. That was yeah, this one's gonna. I think this one's gonna reveal a message. It's just the noisiest box I've ever owned. It's probably good to draw on screen. But I'm gonna go old school for now. So the idea is that it's gonna be like. It's going to be the idea is that the pen's going to like G H I J K L M P Q R S T. I'm going to ignore the second part of the alphabet. So there's going to be like a letter grid like that. And then there'll be runes on top. So if I wanted to write, so it'll be like a 4x4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 4, 4, 4, so then that's, no, it's 4x5. I was going to say there's not enough there. So if the rune, for example, was like this shape, then it would relate to like where you're drawing out the letters underneath. So that one, if I draw the line from the points, I think it would have to be sort of indicated which point, otherwise it would have a load of letters in between. But then that one you draw it out, and it on that one, and it spells cat. And that's something that you could quite easily sort of hide. Just have a lot of those dot runes looking identical, and then when you look at them through Demon Vision, it reveals it, and then you actually do the puzzle. Because I think that that's like a good way to do it, is having like the finding part, and then okay, I know, like now I've figured out what I need to do. Now now I need to actually do it, because I think that's such a big part of having a satisfying puzzle is getting to that point of like, oh, I actually understand what I'm looking for. I understand what needs to be done, rather than just sort of trying different things and hoping something works. So, no, please don't do that. Let's pop that there. Oh, why would you not just link to this one, surely? So this puzzle's going to be the what do I call it? Like blood, runes, and bat grid. See, again, like there's a lot of opportunity for making this more convoluted. Of like, okay, do you do it with a Caesar cipher? Do you make it an anagram? Do you, you know, there's different ways that you could encrypt it further, but it just makes it harder and harder to validate, because if you're taking something like this and you're tracing it and you're getting the letters and then you're Caesar ciphering them and then you're trying to find the anagram and then you figure out, oh, I actually, like, you know, did I get the wrong letters to start with? Have I, you know, Caesar shifted it in the wrong way? There's a lot of things that can potentially go wrong without any way to sort of validate that it's been done correctly. So actually, I don't think I need the second one. I think it's more just this section's going to be I thought this section was going to be big for some reason. So that's going to be essentially read phrase from patterns. That makes sense, right? Makes enough sense to me, I think. Put that in there. Obviously going to want to make it not that colour. Read phrase and patterns, and then that gives us, yeah, that gives us this. Oops. Gives us this. I don't like it when it's so close to it. There we go. We can obviously make that red, because why not? Do I want that? No. That looks very orange to me, but who am I to say? a little bit more interconnected. I'm happy with the amount of progress on that, which is good. Cool. That brings us to 55 minutes. I think I will spend a bit more time. I want to do this a bit more regularly. I'm going to, if you're watching this on Twitch live, then thank you, very much appreciated. I think I'm going to put this this recording just on my channel. It's mostly speedrunning on there, but I feel that puzzles and speedrunning and challenges and those sorts of things are related enough that I'm going to put it all in one place for now, as an actual video, rather than I've got a VODs channel. I don't know. Do I put it on one? Do I put it on the other? This feels like it would be good to do main channel. But yeah, it's on there. If you're watching this on the channel, then come and follow me over on Twitch, TNDigestives. I do puzzle things, I do challenges, I do speedrunning stuff, I do boundary breaks where I take the camera outside of games and try and do like puzzle solving with games, essentially, is what speedrunning is. So yeah, I've also got a Discord, so it'd be great to, if anyone's got any suggestions about puzzles, if you want to see any particular games sort of speedrun or boundary breaked, let me know. It would be great to interact with more people. I also mod for a couple of speedrunning games, particularly in the sort of indie horror and indie game area. So yeah, just have a look at some of the ones that I've speedrun, because I've mod for quite a few of those, and I would love to help you get started if you're interested in speedrunning. Yeah, happy to answer any questions. Would be great to have some more people playing those games, because a lot of them are really good and don't get enough attention and love. So yeah, thank you very much for joining me, and hopefully this becomes a very successful escape room within the next couple of weeks, and I hope you'll stay well and happy and healthy, and take care of yourselves.